What can we expect this season?
Man, I think in general this season it's going to be really great to get to see these girls' stories. I think that there is an amazing group of women that come from different walks of life, just have a lot to share about themselves. They open up, they're honest, they're sweet, and I just think there's a lot of great things to learn about these girls that come on this season.
I'm sure you can relate because obviously you were on their side once before, and you were the one who was opening up. People loved your vulnerability. They loved how open you were. Did that kind of hurt you though? Like, I mean, did you recover from how charity season turned out, or were you more reserved because of it?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I was hurt. I think for me, it was one of those things that I did everything I could. I opened up to a person that was worth opening up to. I felt like I was able to share things about myself and feel comfortable. She gave that safe space, and I tried to do the same thing. I have no regrets for anything I shared, no regrets for being that vulnerable and being honest with my feelings. I think that's what's most important, and you know, things move on, time goes. I'm very happy for her and Diane, and it's now focusing on me and trying to give people the same ability to feel comfortable with me in that same setting.
So Joey, obviously it's not easy to put yourself out there like that, but are you ready? I mean, the season is going to kick off. This is probably the calm before the storm. So are you ready?
I don't think anyone's ready for this. If anyone says like I'm ready for what's going to come, I don't know what it's going to be yet. I think for me, this is all so new. This is all so exciting. I keep saying I'm just trying to take it in stride. I would never have expected to be in this position. I was just a normal dude living in Hawaii a year ago, and how my life has changed and all these opportunities, they're exciting, but it's new. It's different. So I don't know if I'm ready, but I'm doing the best I can to be ready, and I'm just going to try to stay myself during it.
Okay. I feel like the beginning is, as a viewer, the most fun part because you get to meet the girls. There's about 30-something of them, and it's the opening rose ceremony. What can you tell us about the group of women that are on the season? Yeah,
I think for the group of women on the season, as I said, they are so open, honest, they're sweet, they have beautiful stories to tell. I'm lucky. I had a great group of girls from the beginning. I could tell that from as soon as they got out of the limo. And I think as the season goes on, you get to even learn more about them. And yeah, I just think it's going to be one of those seasons that America's going to fall in love with each and every one of these girls. They have so much to offer and so much to give, and it's going to be cool to see their stories come about too.
Anyone who really surprised you? Is there one person that we're going to see who really brought the theatrics when it came to the opening ceremony?
You know, I think that there's going to be a few entrances that are going to get people. The tennis puns were big, that you have to. I mean, they're trying to find ways to relate to me. There's a few Hawaii puns, there's a few tennis puns, there's things that they try to connect with me. So there's nothing that's huge and theatric. There's a few cool entrances where people do something different than the limo, which I know people love.
Yes.
I think you're just going to have to wait and see. I don't want to give too much away because it's fun to see it on night one.
Okay. I won't spoil anything. But what can you tell us about what you look for in a woman? I guess going into it, what were some of the criteria that you had?
Yeah, I think that there is an instant spark. I want to be drawn to her immediately, have that feeling that like her beauty just blows me away. But there's so much more than that too. For me, I want someone that's kind, that's compassionate, that thinks of others before she thinks of herself. Just someone that has so much to give, and someone I feel like I can learn from in a relationship too. I've always looked for a partner, someone that can make me better, and I try to make them better every day too. So yeah, there's a lot of things I was looking for, but I always said I would kind of figure it out as it came, and I felt like that was the case. I learned more about these women each time, and as you do that, you kind of feel if it fits, if it makes sense for you.
Okay, so you had a small checklist, but did you have like, okay, she needs to be 5'7" and above, 5'7" under, nothing?
No, I think love comes in all shapes and sizes. I'm never going to have like some type of criteria. I didn't know what any of these women were going to look like, what they were going to be, what their jobs were, where they were from. It's all exciting to learn that, and you get to do that throughout the entire season. So no checklist. I was open as can be coming into this.
Were you nervous?
Yeah, I was nervous. I think coming in, since I've been in this situation before, I thought I was going to be more comfortable, and I was, but it's a different position now. You know, I'm the person that's in a completely different role, and you worry about how it's going to come off, how you're going to be, and you just want to be yourself the entire time. So I was very nervous coming into it, but I feel confident now thinking back to it.
Is it more nerve-wracking? Because, I mean, you're kind of in a competitive mode when you are on The Bachelorette, but when you are the Bachelor, all eyes are on you, especially the women. So is it different?
It's a different nerves. Yeah, I think when you come in as a contestant, you're getting used to the cameras for the first time. You're getting used to everything in general. That wasn't what I was nervous about. I'm used to the setting. I think the nerves come from how much pressure you get in this role. I think a lot about how much I want to make my family proud, my friends proud, just anyone that was rooting for me. So that's the pressure and the nerves that I felt. It wasn't about the setting necessarily, because that does get a little bit more normal and you get used to it as you do it enough.
Speaking of pressure, I feel like the stakes are high. I mean, they called it the most romantic season.
That was a line. I heard that. Yeah,
this is 2+ decades of Bachelor, and this is the most romantic season?
Hey, I will take it. If that's what it's going to be called, I love it. It's better than the most dramatic season yet. I'll take most romantic over that all day. I think for me, I'm really happy, again, with how I was during it, how the girls were. I think there's a lot of great stories that you're going to be able to see come out. So if that's a tagline, I'll take it.
Okay. Will it live up to it?
Let's hope so. I'm going to say yes, but let's hope so. I think there's some beautiful love stories within there.
Okay. I think it's the tennis.
Yeah.
I'm going to call it.
Yeah, it could be.
So this is a Bachelor first. 2 sisters are competing for your affection. What is that like?
Different. You don't really sign up for that when you come on. You don't think you're going to have family members that are going to be 2 contestants. But I was kind of open to whatever would happen on night 1. I know there was going to be some twists and turns, and when I found out that there was going to be 2 sisters, that was different. But I think for me, I didn't really think too much into it. That was something that I think they would have more trouble with than I would. I just knew that I would have to tread pretty carefully in terms of dealing with both of them and try not to ever pit them against each other, because that's the last thing I would want to do.
I mean, it's going to make for some awkward Thanksgivings, right?
For sure. I think for sure. They had a really good attitude about it, though. I think people will see that they just had as much fun with it as they could.
Okay. I also want to talk about Leia got an envelope. Couldn't you tell us what it was about? I mean, there's some dramatic tones to it. So, what can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I can tell you. I can't tell you what was in it, but I can tell you it's a game changer. It's something that it changes the show for sure. So it's going to be worth tuning in and seeing what is on that note.
Well, that was a tease.
It's a tease.
That's a tease if I ever heard one.
Yeah.
Okay. And also, speaking of tease, we saw there was a little bit of drama. It was a very dramatic final rose ceremony. Can you tell us anything about that one?
Yeah, I can't say much about the final rose ceremony. Obviously, people have seen me very emotional. I think it's just one of those things that it was an ending that I didn't expect. I think it's going to be an ending that no one's going to expect. So, again, something that's going to be worth tuning in for.
Oh, my gosh. You're like, stop thinking about the end. Get to the beginning first.
Yeah, the beginning. Let's get through it. But I'm ready to see how it all comes about, too. It's exciting.
See, I'm the kind of person, though, I'll fast forward. I need to know the ending before I see the beginning, so you got to give me
I'm not that
something.
way. I like to watch it in order. So I get that, though. I know people can be that way.
Yeah, the suspense, the drama. You say that you were very emotional during the final rose ceremony. Were there moments throughout where you found yourself a little overwhelmed or even more emotional than you thought you'd be?
Yeah, I don't know if I was more emotional than I thought I was going to be. I came in and I realized how much this is a role that's difficult. You're going to be handed a lot of different, there's a lot of emotion coming your way. These women are opening up to you. They're sharing things about their life. It's a lot to hold. And I think most of all, I got emotional sometimes because I questioned if I could be the guy in this role. I think it's just a tough position to be in. And, it brings out emotions because you're going through so much. But as always, I tried to push through, put a smile on the face, and keep doing the best that I could. And I know at the end of it, I did everything I could through this, and that's all I can ask for.
Okay. So the president of The Bachelor calls you and says, Joey, we've chosen you to be our next Bachelor. Do you hang up the phone and then call him back and think it's a prank, or what?
I was shocked, obviously, but also not, because there was conversations, and I think for me, I knew that I felt like my story was unfinished from my time that I was on The Bachelorette. I know I gave a lot. I know I made great connections on the show. So when I got the call, when I was told it was happening, I was like so excited, but I was also like, okay, let's do this thing. I'm ready. I just felt ready for this whole opportunity and tried to be ready to hit the ground running immediately.
So you tell your friends and family, what do they say?
They were all very excited, but they're all hopeful. It's hard because they don't know the ending as it's coming. So I already knew the ending. They thought I could possibly be engaged, but they all had that, if you're not engaged, I hope you're going to be the next Bachelor. I was like, let's just watch the end of the show and figure that out first.
Yeah.
But everyone was so supportive. I have so many people that are in my corner that are excited for me, and just I don't know, ready to see how this thing all shakes out.
Definitely. Did you know who you were going to give the first impression rose to immediately, or was it something you had to think about?
No, I think that's something you go throughout the night. That first impression rose is a big deal. It's a lot to give to someone. From the show in general, it can kind of put a little target on your back. You want to make sure you give it to someone that you not only have a great connection with, but you also think they can kind of handle it too. I don't know. For me, it was something that after I had all the conversations of the night, it was very clear who I wanted to give it to. Okay. But it's something that's it's a big deal. You know, you have to be careful with that.
Okay. So I'm married, but I've always wanted to get a rose. So can you just do me a favor and say, Mona, will you come get your rose?
Yeah, I can even do the hold and everything.
I'll pretend to be nervous. You ready? Okay.
So you come up, I'm smiling,
Okay.
and I say, Mona, will you accept this rose?
Yes.
And then I hand it to you,
Thank
and then
you.
we give a hug, and it's a beautiful moment.
Look at that, guys.
That's how it's done.
Thank you for making my dreams come true.
I wish I
without
actually
jeopardizing
had
my
one
marriage.
for you. I wish it wasn't a fake one. I wish I could actually give you one.
No worries. I can now say that I got a rose from a bachelor.
You did, 100%.
An imaginary rose. Okay.